السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. The Quran, right? This is our topic about Quran. There are Usama, right? As an Arabic speaking person, right? There are people who, well, are reading the Quran in Arabic and they're Arabic speaking people, but they're still not guided in it. Do you agree? Right? So there must be a way to approach the Quran, and we must know how to ensure that we get the full optimum results of our recitation of the Quran. It's very important. Yeah. Nakil, when you read the Quran, when you first read the Quran, when you first take the book in the morning, what is your intention? What do you want to achieve?
Seeking guidance and knowledge.
Sure. Did you get it?
Yeah, to a certain extent, yeah. Like, before I do something, like, I always think twice about it, if it's right or it's bad.
Yeah.
You know, certain conversations with people, you know, they say certain words like, you know, I'm lucky for this or lucky like that. I always have to think twice. Instead of saying that, I'll say, oh, you are blessed. I'm blessed to have this and that.
Yeah. Why I'm saying this? Because, Akram, there is... Okay, Prophet Muhammad SAW or Aisha Radhana was asked, how is the character of Prophet SAW? And it was answered, like his character is the Quran. So whatever things that you read, it should be reflected in you. And why I'm saying this, for example, in today's client was about somebody, this person was talking about somebody else who was supposed to be teaching the Quran. But when something happened to her, she would say all the 4-letter words to other people. She would lose her temper.
She would use 4-letter words.
Yeah.
Swear words. Oh, right. Oh, 4-letter words.
It's not fine. It's not, you know. Right.
Why is she using 4-letter words?
What I'm trying to say, she teaches the Quran to people, like what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
But when things happen to her, she starts swearing.
All right.
And this person was in tears. One was complaining to me. So that means that the swearing must be quite bad. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
You claim that you even teach the Quran, and yet you are like this. You're behaving like that to others. Yeah. Or another person perhaps claim that she has read the Quran or he has read the Quran, but involved in buying stocks and shares and all this. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Right? Because Allah warned us about interest and all this, right? Or some people, right, perhaps in your culture, right, and especially his culture, right? They claim that they have read the Quran. Some memorize the Quran, but they still have boyfriends and girlfriends.
No, it's not in our culture.
So, but Fala, do you agree? There's so many people have boyfriends and girlfriends, and for them it's like a norm. It's very normal to have this, right? But you read the Quran. Didn't the Quran say, "Wala taqrabu zina"? Surah? No, enough. 17, verse number 32. Do not come near zina. And that is quite... It is an important concern because in Indonesia, a lot of teenagers have lost their virginity, right? And you cannot claim that you have read the Quran. So obviously our approach of the Quran is wrong in the beginning, right? That is why Allah said in Surah number 62, right, about the Jews. How did the Jews treat the book?
They corrupted it and changed the word.
No. It's rhymes, monkey, donkey, but I think it's donkey. It's like a donkey. Yeah. A donkey would carry a lot of books, but they do not know what is importance of the books. And it's a very good example. And we are becoming like that, right? That means we have this important miracle of Allah in front of us, but people may be memorizing, may be reading, but completely, right, what they achieve is nothing. And this is important because Allah wants us. So let's turn to Surah number 57, verse number 16. And we discussed this before in our classes about the Quran. 57, Al-Hadid. Yeah. Yeah, read for me, please.
ولا يكون الذي كتاب من قبل فطال عليهم فقصد وكثير منهم فاسقون.
Right. So, has not the time comes for the hearts of those who believe to be affected by Allah's reminders and that which has been revealed of the truth? When are we going to always read and read and read? Even everybody is reading Al-Ikhlas, and yet people are having all this doing of shirk all along, right? Having all this, you're reading it all the time. You go to sleep, but then you're not affected by what Allah has revealed, because Allah wants us lest they become as those who receive the scriptures. That means the Torah and the Injil before, which is the Jews and the Christians. The term was prolonged for them, and so their hearts were hardened. So because they did not, they have the books with them, but they changed, and not only that, because of that, the hearts become hardened. And on that basis, Allah said, many of them are fasiqun. A lot of Muslims, fasiqun means rebellious. Are many Muslims rebellious? Of course,
Yeah.
many. Indonesians, you guys.
Thank you.
This one. Assalamualaikum. You got no country, so it's okay. No, only that everybody hated it. Hated this. I mean, I love it. Education. Everyone to kill is sorry. So this is it, right? And it is important that we really look at this verse, because Muslims can be fasiqun, right? That means you know about the truth and that just rebel. You know about, surely, when Indonesians, when they read about do not come near zina, it's very easy to understand. Yeah, but most of them, they can't be bothered. And this is a huge thing, because as I said before, one of my people whom I know said to me when I was commenting about his girlfriend, right? I said, be careful, because it's haram. And he said, don't worry, I can control myself. Then the girlfriend got pregnant, and then they got an abortion, right? So this is how, right, that when we don't listen to what Allah has informed us in the Quran, it comes to this. So the approach of the Quran surely is wrong, because sometimes when you do, Rom is very amazing, alhamdulillah. 31 years of being Muslim, and then he's always quoting what the verses of the Quran, alhamdulillah, may Allah barik, right? So what do you do when you read the Quran? What are you looking for?
Looking, I think it's just like Brother said, looking for like guidance, but I think it's also like the words are something that you can ponder. The sentences are something you can ponder, because when you look at the Quran, there's a theme to it. When you look at any surah, at the outset, the initial part of the surah has like a theme, and then the verses that are sort of in the middle, and then in the end, they all kind of tie in together. It's kind of like everything. There's no kind of.
It's not a haphazard kind of arrangement.
No,
It's like
it's
and
always.
it's been revealed over
it's like
20
a handmade.
years.
Exactly, yes.
It's like a handmade scarf. Like everything's knitted to the proper.
Yeah.
And the thing is that it's not revealed as you see it in the Quran. All the chapters are in that order, but it's not revealed in that order. And that's what makes it miraculous.
You know, Osama, you know why I was asking the reverse? It's quite embarrassing that they really are trying hard to understand the Quran. Whereas many of us, we just can't be bothered and take it for granted. When you sit here, I can see your face, beautiful face, right? And this is important that we realize it. I'm sure, Bob, you agree with me. A lot of Muslims, especially in the Arabic world, and Arabs, yeah. No, this is not. This is you got no country. So this is Kurdistan.
Saudi Arabia?
No, Kurdistan. Kurds. So no country.
No, I was talking about you.
No, Yemen. Yeah. So, and it is quite. I'm sure you agree, right? That when the reverse they read, they really analyze it, and for us when you read, that's it. 5 minutes. Sorry. Yeah, exactly. So, and the worst part, Charlie, is that now, today, 2024, the Quran has been translated in many different languages. Not only that, the quality of translation is very good in general. It's very, very good compared to many. When I was a child, right, 7 years old, I took my sister's English Quran. It used first page I was so confused. I can't be bothered. It was a Shakespearean thing because they want to imitate the Bible, right? They kind of with a slow. Can't be bothered because you don't even understand.
You mean the use of
Because they want to make it more refined in English way. Right?
Was the person Muslim?
Sorry?
Was the person Muslim?
Who?
Translator.
Yeah.
Because then
Some, yeah.
you'd follow the Christians until they stick their hand.
Yeah. That is I'm not saying bad, but one of two of the translators were not Muslims, right? And then how can you actually follow them? For example, in Oxford University, right? The director of Islamic Studies is not Muslim. How on earth are you able to absorb or to understand that? Because this person, if they truly understand what they're talking about in Islam, they wouldn't be non-Muslim. They would be a Muslim, 100%.
Yeah.
Right? It's impossible, right? And as I said just now, the Quran now has been translated to many different languages. Surely, right? People will be more guided. But as it is in today's world, it's not. They are worse than a few years ago, right? You guys, all right? With all these concerts and with all these boxing, with all these Formula One, right? So this is where we are at. Surely there must be something that we have to do in order to make sure that we approach the Quran in the best of manner. Even you and I know on the day of judgment, Prophet Muhammad will, Prophet is so patient, even in this world, right? When the children throw stones at him, he still wants the angels to spare them of their lives.
Yeah.
But on the day of judgment, no such thing, right? He will complain about you and me.
Sorry.
Prophet Muhammad,
Yeah.
on the day of judgment, if you look in Surah number 25, verse number 30, yeah, Allah said, وَقَالَ الرَّسُولُ يَا رَبِّ إِنَّ قَوْمِ اتَّخَذُوا هَذَا الْقُرْآنَ مَهْجُورًا. Right, that the Messenger ﷺ will say, "Oh my Lord," he will complain to Allah, "Verily my people deserted the Quran, deserted, right, the book that Allah has ensured to be a guidance for all of us." Prophet will complain that we have deserted. Now, deserted does not necessarily mean do not read. Deserted is perhaps you read but you don't understand. You read, you understand, but you don't ponder over it. You read, you understand, you ponder, you don't implement upon it. Yeah, and because at the end of the day, we discussed many times in our class, when Allah sent Adam alayhi salam and his wife out of paradise, He promised us what? Guidance. قُلْنَا اهْبِطُوا مِنْهَا جَمِيعًا فَإِمَّا يَأْتِيَنَّكُم مِّنِّي هُدًى فَمَن تَبِعَ هُدَايَ فَلَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ وَالَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا وَكَذَّبُوا بِآيَاتِنَا أُولَٰئِكَ أَصْحَابُ النَّارِ هُمْ فِيهَا خَالِدُونَ. Surah number 2, verse number 38 and 39. Right? 8 more verses. Right? Which means, right, get down all of you from this place, but they will come to you guidance from me. Whoever follows my guidance, upon them shall have no fear, nor shall they grieve. So Allah promised you and me guidance. And not only that, Allah has provided us with this earth. No other planets in the universe where you can, as in there's gravity, to look for guidance. You will have to hold on to something flying around to go for guidance in the moon and in other places, correct? Secondly, you don't even have enough oxygen to make you alive. You need all these, what they call it, the spacesuit in order to get your oxygen, to breathe. We also are given what? The faculties, the eyes, the ears, right? Not to look around in the parks, right? But to look for guidance as much as possible, right? Our feet and our arms are used to look for guidance. Salam alaikum. And this is important that we realize this, right? And not to take Allah's blessings for granted. I'm sure you have seen in the videos how people with no limbs and are trying to do the salah, right? and struggling to do so, but they're very happy to do the things. But a lot of us are not doing it properly. Yeah. So this is important that we realize this. And the next part of the verse, Surah number 2, verse 39, those verily those who disbelieve and those who belie my ayah, my signs, my verses. What happened to them? Right, they will be the inheritance of the hellfire, yeah, and they will dwell in forever. So very clear example in the Quran. So Charlie, when you read this verse, let's say for the first time, you're given two choices: guidance, and in which there's no fear and there's no grief. That means paradise, inshallah. But second one, abandonment of this guidance, then they will be in hellfire. Would you think about this? This is one of my favorite verses, which I always quote, because I always use this to show everybody that guidance is not from your father, grandfather, great grandfather. It's from Allah. It must come from Allah, and you must choose this guidance. If you refuse to choose this guidance, that's it. You are at the other side of the coin, which is in hellfire.
Sorry, Ustad, what was the verse again that you favor Allah? What was the verse again?
Surah number 2, verse number 38, 39.
Okay.
Yeah, so Allah in the Quran always gives two scenarios. If you want to follow, you get this. You do not want to follow, you get the other type. And this is you have to think about the consequences of actions. We're given the free will to choose, agree? But there's always consequences, always. Same thing in your school. Whether you want to study or not, it's up to you. But if you don't study, then the consequence is severe. But at least in this life, you can repeat, agree? You can repeat the exams, but in the hereafter, that's it. There's only one chance you are given. Yeah. So, knowing all this, knowing that Allah has provided us with His guidance, and Allah even said in the Quran, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. So we look at the roles of the Quran, guidance. If the Quran is not improving ourselves in terms of tawheed, in terms of iman, in terms of our characters, surely something must be wrong with our approach to the Quran. It must improve. So, Bob, when you are reading the surah regarding Prophet Yusuf, for example, right? There must be a lesson that we must learn in terms of patience, in terms of trusting Allah's plan, right? In terms of blaming shaitan for things that happen. He always blame the brothers. They always want to protect his fellow humans because shaitan is always there. So all these kind of things we must learn, from learn that we do not make the same mistakes and that we must follow the Quran. One third of the Quran is full of stories of the prophets that we should the prophet that is mentioned the most would be Musa alayhi salam, right? That we must learn when some things, for example, when the whole town full of evil, for example, if like France, because the new government is forming, right? It's so right wing. It may be so unbearable for the Muslims to practice. Then the people there, especially those who cannot wear hijab, you have to do something about yourself, about your life.
They died the hijab in France.
Long time ago they've been planning, but now a new right-wing government has been elected, and that means much more difficulties in this. Again, we saw in many verses of the Quran, Allah gave us people the cave, right? Did they run away? Yes, they did. Musa salam in his because he lived in a place where people are so evil, right? And then he had no choice but to run away. Ibrahim salam, his father wanted to throw stones at him, and he got to run away to migrate to a better place that they can practice. Muhammad salam, of course, right? He migrated. They migrated twice. One is to Abyssinia and one is to Medina. Yeah. So all these examples in the Quran is not just there for fun for us to read. Oh, okay, it happened. It must apply in our lives. Right? That's why when you talk about when is Muharram, what's Muharram? Have this more. Yeah. Right. So when we talk about Muharram, it's not just about the New Year. Again, we talked before, right? Remember, don't wish each other Happy New Year. You do not need to do anything at all. In Singapore, right, there is a special dua for New Year. how they come with special dua for them. All this has not been legislated at all. Yeah, we just need.
To the sea also, right?
Sorry?
They go to the sea as well.
Oh, that is this country. It's Indonesia, right? They go to the sea. Huh? On your side, right? Yeah. In the Parangtritis. Yeah. You remember all the bad things, yeah? Yeah. So these are the things. Yeah, satu surah, which is in a few days time. Yeah. They actually went to the sea to offer the food. The floated the food. You can just Google it. You can see. Yeah. And this is how it is. The people completely say in the Quran, in your Al-Fatiha, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Only to you worship, only to you we seek help. And then you go do all this. You say Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. All thanks go to Allah. Is the Rabbul Alamin, the maintenance, and here you offer this food to the people, to the laws or to the gardens of the sea. Completely what call it, ridiculous. Now, so the Quran, whenever we read before we approach the Quran, we must know, why are we reading this? What must we gain? We do not want to spend the next half an hour getting nothing at all, except and I think for me personally, I don't know what about you. One of the best ways to sleep is to read the Quran. Somehow the shaitans come to you and somehow make you sleepy and drowsy, and then sometimes you have to repeat the verses a few times in order to make you understand. That is how the Quran is.
So
Reading itself. Yeah.
I think if you read, but it's full.
Sorry?
You read the Quran and you're sleeping. How do you not fall?
You have to stop.
Stop.
Yeah, stop.
I'm
And
really tired.
and come tired, yes. Yeah, because after that, just do wudu again and make it and freshen up. Shaitan is always there to distract us from understanding. Yeah. So the first thing that we must gain when you read Quran is guidance. That means when I read this prophet, that prophet, this scene, that scene, read surah, we must know what are we supposed to get from that. Because if not, it will be such a waste of your time. Yeah. So guidance is the number one thing. The Quran is also a healing against either physical, that means any illnesses, or spiritual, right? Physical, that what hadith is it?
Snake.
Yeah, one of the chief of the tribes got a snake bite, and then this person read it, and he was given this a lot of sheep to slaughter. Yeah. But so this is a physical guidance. Allah said in Surah number 41, verse 44, قُلْ هُوَ لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا هُدًى وَشِفَاءً. Yeah, it is for those who believe, and a guide and a healing. It can also be spiritual healing against hypocrisy, doubts, right? Kufur, right? And it's very important, yeah, to make sure that at the end of the day, Allah informed, there's a whole chapter about munafiq, right? About hypocrisy, which a lot of people, they don't realize that all of us must suspect that we are hypocrite. Only those who are hypocrite thinks that you're not hypocrite. As simple as that. Yeah. So as I said, healing.
Sorry, repeat that one.
Only those who are hypocrite think that they're not hypocrite. So all of us must always suspect ourselves, right?
All of the Sahabas were scared of it.
Yes.
And it's as if like you're walking in a minefield.
Yes. So even when the list came out, right? The list came out of hypocrites. Yeah, I think it was given to Hudhaifa, one of the Sahaba. And then even Umar ibn Khattab, the second Caliph, yeah, was really scared whether he's one. Can you imagine Umar of all people, right? Surely he's not a hypocrite. But he himself was suspecting that he's one of them, or he was pleading with Hudhaifa to give him the list. Yeah. So this is important that when you read the Quran, you must know hypocrisy, how to avoid hypocrisy, because especially hypocrisy divided into two, right? Minor and major. Major hypocrisy is based on your aqidah, your belief, yeah, that if you died in that state, what happened? On the lowest level hellfire. Surah number 4 was number 145, I think. 145. Yeah, that you're in the lowest hellfire, lowest level. Yeah. So we have to understand. We know one of the people whom we know it may he end up to be hypocrite, because at the end of the day, yeah, for believing in front of us and behind us, he completely support other things. Right? I always remember we discussed before one whole topic about what nullifies our Islam. Right? Supporting the disbelievers itself will nullify your Islam, especially when the disbelievers are against the believers. Yeah, so you have to be careful with this. Now, so we talk about the hadith. Okay, now this is Surah number 69, verse 48. Wa innahu la tadhkiratul lil muttaqin, which means that the Quran is a reminder for the muttaqun, not for the Muslims, for the muttaqun. Why Allah you choose this word? Because not everybody is in a state of taqwa, God consciousness, right? So only those who are God conscious will take the Quran and be reminded by the Quran. And it's very important, yeah, that we make sure that we are among those who have taqwa. What is taqwa means again?
God consciousness.
Yes, that means at all times you remind you're afraid of Allah, whether your actions or your words will be made against you on the day of judgment. Yeah. So having these long introductions, now you need to understand how do you approach the Quran. First of all, before you approach the Quran, you must be sincere. That you recite the Quran for the sake of improving yourself for Allah, not because you want your parents to hear your recitation so that they can, oh, my son, subhanallah, right, is going to be in the Jannah, right? Right? Yeah, this is quite, yeah, true, right? But that's why I told you before in this class, right? I do not like Quranic competitions, Quranic recitations competition, because it's just Indonesians always win usually, or Malaysians always win, right? But again, it's just showing off. People don't even understand about what they're reciting. I tell you, right? I banned one person from long time ago from steps to Allah because suddenly he was just reciting the Quran in my house in front of everybody. People say, "Oh, mashallah!" Like, come on. The Quran is not meant just to be heard. It is meant to be reminded and to be affected by it, not to show off. Yeah. So the first thing you must do is to be sincere when you say the Quran. Not because, inshallah, but that recitation, there's a lot of treasures to be gathered from that. You need to hunt the treasures. That with Allah's will, I'm sure you know, right? Sometimes you read the Quran, it's nothing to you. But sometimes you read, every single word, every single verse you read is so important to you. It's just how we are. Sometimes we're so tired and our minds are somewhere else. We're not affected, but sometimes it's really put you to tears just when you read the Quran, especially when you have problems, right? The verses of the Quran that will resolve your issues are always in front of you. And it just solves everything that you are doubting at. Yeah. So secondly, right, because you and I know, as I said just now, when we are reading the Quran, we are always feeling sleepy, or something would distract us. What must we do? Yes, we seek. Wudu is good. I will always do wudu, but it may not be necessary for Quran that is not mushaf. But I would always read.
What does Musaf mean?
Means all Arabic, no meaning. The full Quran, yes. Yeah. So, but we see, we need to understand the behavior of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. When he went to the toilet and one Sahaba was saying salam to him, did he respond?
No.
No. What was his reason?
Because
I know, but what's his reason why he doesn't want?
because of shaitan.
He doesn't want to mention the name of Allah without being purified. So that's him. So we should try to follow what he did.
Is that even outside of the toilet?
Yes, that's what he meant. Yeah. Yes.
What if your name
It's Abdullah. Yeah.
You're saying my name, then I say that
No. It's okay. Yeah. But all I'm trying to say, he is the best of the best. So if you fall short, as long as you are not touching the mushaf without wudu, it's fine. If you want to read the Quran, because for example, are the women in menstruation, are they allowed to recite the Quran?
No.
They are not
Yes, they are.
to touch
Not touching the mushaf, right? If only some scholars say they can. Some people say they can touch, use the gloves, isn't it, to touch it.
But nowadays, like, they can just use a phone.
Mobile phone is not part of mushaf because mobile phones are electronic, right? It's not writing. Yeah.
Quran, it's got English translation, you know, like the,
Yes, it doesn't require wudu.
it doesn't require.
But still, I would personally do wudu
Yeah.
because you're setting the words of Allah,
Yeah.
right? So it's important, yeah, to say A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Yeah. Why? From which verse of the Quran?
Is it and then Araf?
I'm sure there's a few, right? There's 16 verse number 98. Yep. فَإِذَا قَرَأْتَ الْقُرْآنَ فَاسْتَعِذْ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ. Yeah, which means that so when you recite the Quran, seek refuge with Allah from Satan the outcast. That's why before you do the salah when you recite the Quran, right, Al-Fatiha and so on. So you should seek refuge in Allah from Shaitan. What is the story that somebody lost a gold?
Oh, he went to Imam Abu Hanifa
Then
and he said, I've buried some treasure and I can't find it. And Imam Abu Hanifa said, this isn't a fiqh question, but I'll try and answer it. Go do 2 rakat of salah. The man was in the middle of a salah, remembered where the gold was, left salah, found the gold, went to Imam Abu Hanifa, said, I found the gold, thank you. Imam Abu Hanifa said, I knew Shaitan wouldn't even let you get through 2 rakat of salah without reminding you where the gold was.
Yeah. Okay. So it is one of the things that is a fact of life. Whenever we want to obey Allah, Shaitan is always jealous of us and try to distract us. Yeah, for getting a full reward. Can we get 100% khushu'?
No, only 50.
Only 50 the most. Yeah. So this is important. Yeah. So the first one was sincerity. Yeah. When you approach the Quran. So don't just take a book. This is not Harry Potter book, though. This is the Quran, right? Yeah, you need to have this special attention before you read. And secondly, seek refuge in Allah, yeah, from Shaitan. Thirdly, I would be very grateful to Allah for allowing me to be still alive, to be reminded to how to change ourselves, to be guided, right? Because this is one of the best ways to get guidance is through the Quran. Yeah. So it is important, yeah, that we are grateful because when you're grateful to somebody, especially to Allah, then you will be more sincere. Do you agree? Right? Because if you just take out it without being grateful, then there's nothing. Because I'm sure you're grateful to your parents, right? Especially for you, Bob, your mom, right, has been providing for you.
Yeah.
But again, when you know you love your parents, you want to do more. Yeah, you want to be more sincere, right? To ensure, right, that your mom gets the best support and all this, right? So same thing as the Quran, right? When you are grateful to Allah, you would want to do more to get the benefits of the Quran. If you want to talk to Allah, what do? You pray. You're not wrong, right? But if you want Allah to talk to you, read the Quran. Yeah. The next one, right? Number 4. You need to understand that the Quran is divided into 3 major parts. First of all, Tawheed. And you must know which part of the Quran on Tawheed. You don't just read and, this is what. You must know this Tawheed. Yeah? When you talk about Surah Al-Fatiha, right? We talk about Allah's as a Rabb, the giver, right? Allah always talk about the universe, about the fruits that Allah has given us, the water Allah has given us. So you need to really know that this is Tawheed. And by reading it, you need to know this Tawheed. And you must understand Tawheed very, very well. That is why your side, right? Especially this one, of course, right? There's so much shirk happening in the Muslim world today, whether it's knowingly or unknowingly. You think it's knowingly or unknowingly?
Unknowingly,
Both, I think.
a lot of it's unknown.
Both, I think.
I would say the leader, like, of the sect, they know it.
Yeah.
But, like, the followers, like, they just
Why?
follow blindly.
Because they have no knowledge. It's culture.
It's good.
It's like, like, you advise them and they say,
Yeah.
we find our friends doing that, and like,
Yeah.
you just follow them.
Yeah, because most of them, this is what also in the Quran, right? About the forefathers, right? Which surah we discussed before? 5 verse number. Let's look at it. 5 verse number.
78.
No.
It's 100 and something.
104
100
to 105. Let's look at surah number 5, 104 to 105. 5, surah number 5, 104 to 105. وإذا قيل لهم تعالوا إلى ما أنزل الله وإلى الرسول قالوا حسبنا ما وجدنا عليه آباءنا أولو كان آباؤهم لا يعلمون شيئا ولا يهتدون. And when it is said to them, come to what Allah has revealed unto the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they say, enough for us is that which we found our fathers following. And Allah said, even though their fathers had no knowledge whatsoever, nor any guidance. And Allah warned us in the next verse, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu alaykum anfusakum. O you truly believe, take care of your own selves. La yadurrukum man dhalla idha ihtadaytum ila Allahi marji'ukum jami'an fayunabbi'ukum bima kuntum ta'malun. If you follow the right guidance, that means the Qur'an, authentic hadith, right? No hurt can come to you from those who are in error. The return of you all is to Allah, then He will inform you about all which you used to do. Right? So it is important, that we completely understand Tawheed, not just is oneness of Allah. Everything that we do, we understand that Allah is the one as our Rabb, who provides for us our provisions. Right? Nothing that we have in our bank account is from us. Do you agree? Everything is from Allah. Right? The water that we switch on, you know that millions of people in the world has no water, or at least should say has no fresh water. Yet you and me, when we turn on the tap, the water is there for us to drink. Yeah. When you open the fridge, Akil, in your house, has your fridge ever been empty?
No.
Never. And our Rabb is providing us. That's why never say, we're so lucky. Right? Never say good luck. Never say unfortunately. Everything has been decreed by Allah. It's not a coincidence. It's been planned by Allah. Right? So it is important that we understand, right, that, for example, Nakil, when you study in the university, inshallah, you pass the exams, it is from Allah. Right? And never see, I studied so hard, that's why I'm able to pass my exams. Everything's from Allah. You must say Alhamdulillah in everything that you do. Yeah? Well, in your job last time as an IT, right? The things that Allah has given you in terms of provisions and all this is all from Allah. Right? We can never say, we must never say, see, because of my hard work, right? I go to school, I support myself. Nothing is from us. Wallahu ghalibun ala amri. Walakin akthara nasi la ya'lamun. Surah number 12, verse number 21. Allah has a full power control over all His affairs, but most men do not know about this. Yeah? So this is Tawheed. Agreed? Right? In terms of His names, right? Allah's mercy, so full of mercy that Allah is so, He wants all of us to be forgiven, that He revealed this verse. قُلْ يَا عِبَادِيَ الَّذِينَ أَسْرَفُوا عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ لَا تَقْنَطُوا مِنْ رَحْمَةِ اللَّهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَغْفِرُ الذُّنُوبَ جَمِيعًا إِنَّهُ هُوَ الْغَفُورُ الرَّحِيمُ. Say, oh mankind, if you
wronged yourselves.
All those people who wrong themselves, right? Do not despair of the mercy of Allah, for Allah forgive all sins. He is often forgiving, the most merciful. He used the word Ghafur Rahim. And this is one of the best mercy of Allah. Yeah? That Allah would want all of us to be entering Jannah, inshallah. Yeah? Even the Quran, when we recite, all the verses are beginning with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, Ar-Rahman, both of them are relation to Allah of mercy. The difference is that Ar-Rahman is His mercy to all of us in this life, whether you're a believer or non-believer. Ar-Rahim is only for the believers in the hereafter. Yeah, this Tawheed.
So the translation of Rahman Rahim is most gracious, most merciful.
That is very, very loose translation, very diluted. Even the word Rabb is translated as Lord. It's so diluted, which doesn't justify the greatness of our Rabb as a provider, protector, and all this. Right? That is why in my culture and in Falak's culture also, right? Many houses they have Bismillah Rahman Rahim in the door. To do what? To protect the house. Right? Completely against Rabb. Some people they have all this ayatul kursi, right, in the house to protect the house. Completely irrelevant. Yeah, because at the end of the day, it is Allah who protects us. Yeah. So this is one third of the Quran is about Tawheed, which we must really understand. And surely, if you understand this, we wouldn't be worshipping the shrines, isn't it true?
Yeah.
We wouldn't even be thanking ourselves or praising ourselves, because everything from Allah, we did almost nothing. We just need to put the effort and Allah do everything for us. Do you agree? And this is something that when we have to understand when we read the Quran, we must achieve this, right? Complete. We are all of us are completely under the Allah's Allah has a full power over us. Yeah? That we are doing almost nothing, achievable only upon Allah's will, right? That is why we talked about in the Quran, talk about Battle of Badr. Right? Battle of Badr, what happened? How many Muslims? 333, I think. 13, sorry, yeah. In the so you know, yeah, 1,000 of the Quraysh, of the what they call it, disbelievers. Yeah. Again, it's not about the numbers in Islam. Never about numbers. It's all about how Allah will help those whom Allah wills. Right. That is why, alhamdulillah, the Muslims won decisively. I think there were 70 Quraysh who were killed. Yeah. However, the next battle, Uhud, the Muslims made a very fatal mistake of disobeying the Russian Prophet Muhammad SAW. And to that, 70 Muslims became martyrs, including the Prophet's uncle, Hamza. Yeah. So lessons to be learned a lot. Yeah. So we do need to know this. Yeah. And at the same time, understand Tawheed. Surely, none of us would commit acts of shirk if we understand completely what is Tawheed. Next one, day of judgment. Surely, when we read the Quran, we would be fearful of the day of judgment. What is the food of the hellfire? Zakum and pus. The pus of the wounds. Yeah. The water would be the very hot water that will tear the intestines. It is going to happen to those people whom Allah wills, and surely it must put fear in our minds when we read the Quran. Yeah. The day of judgment is going to come. It's a promise by Allah. All of us will meet Allah, as Allah promises. Allahu la ilaha illahu la yajma'anakum ila yawmil qiyamati la rayba fi. Right? Allah swears upon His own name. Allah, none has right to worship but you. Surely, He will gather you together on the day of resurrection. There is no doubt about it. La rayba fi. That we will have an appointment with Allah. Right? Especially when I'm sure when you in your local mosque in Fajr, you always talk about their judgment, right? The surah, right? The surah Qiyamah, the whole surah was on the day of judgment. Yeah. What will be your reaction? Were you surprised that a lot of things in the day of judgment when you read the Quran?
What do you mean?
Before you read the Quran, right? Were you aware that there's a day of judgment? And in that detail in the Quran, so much details. Right? And I'm sure you're amazed that because Allah is so fair, Al-Adl, He would want us to know what we are going to encounter on the day of judgment, right? On the day of judgment, we read the tafsir about the Shin. What is the Shin?
Rightly guided. Try to look for
There will be a caller to say, follow those whom we used to worship, right? So some people worship the cows will appear and before the cow. And then you guys, right? You'll be in hellfire. Those who are Christians follow the cross. The cross people will follow the cross and they will be in hellfire. Except one group of people who have never seen Allah before. Right? And then even Allah will ask, what are you waiting for? We are waiting for our God, but we haven't seen our Allah before, right?
But the hypocrites be there as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? And then after that, the Shin is shown, right? And all of us somehow know why this is from a sign from Allah, and we will start to prostrate, except the hypocrites are not allowed to prostrate, and their bones will be, what do you call it?
Rigid.
Yeah, will be in one piece instead of the, your spines can bend in all this, but this one they cannot bend. Yeah. So all is very clear in the Quran that we must be fearful of their judgment. Yeah. The last one to talk about Tawheed, their judgment. The prophets. The prophets are there in order to teach us a lesson. Yeah. The prophets' stories are so amazing. Yeah, that there's so many lessons for us to learn, especially Musa alayhi salam. So many lessons to learn. Ibrahim alayhi salam sacrificed so much. Yeah. I think one of the main lessons to be learned from prophets is that a command of Allah is a command of Allah. It's not for you and me to disobey. Even though how ridiculous it is, right? Can you imagine, Charlie, Allah commanded you to bring your wife in the middle of the desert with nothing at all. No trees, no water. It's difficult to obey, correct? Because it's so ridiculous. Yes.
Can I also add that, when they say Sarah was jealous of Hajar, I think that's not authentic because from Israeliyat.
Yes.
Like when she asked Hajar, asked Ibrahim, did Allah order you to do this? He said yes. But other than that, he didn't say, oh, Sarah.
No. Yes, from Allah's command, right? So we have all these stories. Habil and Qabil. Right? What lessons must we know about Qabil? Don't have hasad, and we also must protect ourselves from hasad. Right? That's why some people go to an extent that they don't want to post anything on the social media because somehow the family members are jealous of each other, your side of the world.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. My neighbours,
yeah. They don't like that you have this prosperity and all this. They just want, they just don't want Allah to bless you. That's what the word evil eye is, right? That you do not want Allah's blessings to be on you, right?
Also, another benefit would be to listening to people with knowledge or authority. Like the whole thing with Habib and Qabil happened when Adam told Qabil to marry a certain daughter.
Yes.
So that's if you didn't listen to his father, obviously nothing of that would have happened.
Yeah, but the main thing is, of course, Allah's command is Allah's absolute. It's not up to you and me to choose, right? Because in those days, the twins are not supposed to marry each other. It's haram for them. They must marry another twin, right? But Qabil refused. Yeah. So Qabil, the two brothers.
Cable and Cain.
You heard of it? Okay, in those days, right? When the twin Adam and Hawa, right? When they give birth, they always give birth to boy girl, twin. Yeah. But the rule in those days, the same twin cannot marry each other. They must marry other twins. Yeah. So Qabil was supposed to marry Habil's twin, but he refused. He wants to marry his own twin, whom he perceived to be more beautiful, right? And this is completely disobedience to Allah, right? And therefore Allah even did not accept his offering of sacrifice. Yeah. So very important to understand that Allah's command is absolute. Abdul Rahman, if you were commanded by Allah in the middle of desert to build an ark, a sheep, would you do that? And there's no rain, there's no river far away. It's difficult, right? People, I would make fun of you, of course, right? The first one, but at the end of the day, this doesn't make sense. But again, this is command of Allah, in which Nuh salam was obediently, right, fulfilling his command of Allah, and he built the ark, even though he was, of course, abused and all this. Yeah. So many lessons to be learned, and this is how it is when you ponder over these verses, when you discuss it in classes, then you realize, oh, that's why Quran is a guidance from Allah, because there are many things to be learned. Whereas many of us, as you know, right, some of your people, right, they read, finish the Quran in 2 weeks, completely no change. Alhamdulillah, get all the reward, of course, but it's not just about reward, right? It's about trying to get the best guidance in our short life. How are we doing things to please Allah? How close are we to Allah? And this is something in which only through Allah that you'll be guided. How do you know Islam is a path for you? before you take Shahada?
Made sense. Made sense to me. I couldn't find anything wrong.
Yeah, before you took Shahada, did you make dua to Allah?
Not sure.
I'm sure in your heart you would have said something, right? That, guide me at the end of the day, because,
Something like that, yeah.
yeah. And it's quite important, yeah, to continuously to make dua to Allah. Yeah. How about you?
I made dua to Allah.
Yes.
Can't really remember, to be honest with you.
But you know it's the truth. Yeah. So, and this is important, especially for all of us who have not gone through that process. It's quite a difficult process, no? To try and hide from your family, right? To whom you love so much, some of us have to move out of the families, away from the family. You face so much difficulties, especially those who are Hindus, two of you, right? Face so much difficulties throughout until today, even. I know one sister, your sister, right? Another Hindu person. So until today, constantly being abused by the family members, right?
Like verbally.
Verbally, yes. That none of us have gone through before. And it's quite difficult, but this is through Allah's guidance you get, alhamdulillah, right? Able to be still in the deen, alhamdulillah. Yeah. Okay, so that means when we look at the Quran, you must know, okay, this is Tawheed, the Prophet said, okay, what must I learn from this, right? About the Day of Judgment. What must I fear from the Day of Judgment? And all this must be going through our mind. Instead of just read, and you don't even ponder over this. And this is important, yeah? Number 5, understand that everything in the Quran is the truth, right? Nothing is false in the Quran. Even how ridiculous the story is, right? It is the truth that you must really understand. How can a fire not burn you? But which story? Ibrahim alayhi salam, right? Remember that I always remember these things in which I read about how even all the animals were trying to help to put the fire down, except for one lizard, right? Lizard was even trying to make the fire bigger. Right? I don't know. You want to be the lizard, right? And this is how it is. Yeah.
No, that's Ibrahim. It's too early. It's too early for Yahud.
Yeah, not yet.
Yahud is a
Stay
state.
alert from the lizard.
Oh, it's not.
So, yeah. So we do need to know that everything in the Quran is the truth. Even how with Allah, that logic doesn't play a part. How can a person born without a father? Yeah. How can the sea parted? How can the moon split? And I'm sure you know, right? When you read through the YouTube that you find that scientists discovered cracks on the moon, right? Which verifies the splitting of the moon. I always remember the moon is huge split, you know. And usually when you talk about magic, only those in Saudi Arabia can see it. The rest cannot see it. Okay, let's say somebody going to put magic on you, right? Only you can see the moon split, not others. Sorry?
That video by
I can't remember.
he's talking about the moon splitting. Like NASA has these pictures. Witnesses are from Saudi Arabia, India.
So witnesses from China, they can see the moon split, and that is not magic. Magic is only for you with eyes here, in the place of where magic was born. But the rest cannot see this moon split. Now everybody can see the moon split.
It's because it happened at night and it happened at once. As soon as it split, it came back again.
Yeah, it's a huge split though. It's huge split and coming in. Yes, how far? Yeah, and until now, as I said, they saw the split of the moon. Yeah, there's some cavities and all these traces of it in the moon. Yeah, so it's very important for us not to doubt the Quran. As a human beings, how can be logical, brothers? How can be logical for all of us to cross the sirat, which is sharper than knife, thinner than hair? Can you cross it?
Inshallah, great answer.
Right, guys, I was trying to trick you. Oh no, I cannot. Yeah, because with Allah, logic doesn't play a part. And always remember, in the next world, nothing makes sense. How can the molar tooth of a disbeliever is equivalent to Mount Uhud, right? How can the distance from this shoulder to that shoulder will be
3 days long.
3 days of travel? 3 days. That means a long, right? How can your skin? How thick is the skin?
3 days.
Travel.
I think skin is 1 day. The shoulder is 3 days. Right? So it is so thick.
What about height?
Height. I'm not sure about the in hellfire, but in paradise would be
30 meters long.
about all the people will be the height of Adam alayhi salam, which is about 48 kilometers. Meters, sorry, not kilometers. Meters. Yeah. So but hellfire we did not know. It's not mentioned as far as I can remember. Yeah. So, and this is because some people, when they read the Quran, some people, especially, remember we saw a lot of YouTube videos about people trying to find faults in the Quran, and they can never find any faults. And in the end, most of them become Muslims, right? Because they know there is a truth in the Quran. Yeah. Now,
Question was there 18 hours?
who?
Christine read the Quran.
Yeah. He
I
put
like that.
put line. Put a line.
That was a bit weird. You didn't need to be
That's
told.
what, yeah. But it is as it is. I think, is he Muslim now? Not yet, right?
I don't know. I think he's very close.
Very close.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
the next one that we must understand, the Quran must be fully obeyed. As Muslims, we must understand Islam is complete submission to Allah. As I said just now, there's nothing we think that it's ridiculous to follow all the commands. All the commands are absolute. As Iblis was trying to understand why I'm so superior, I must bow down to somebody who's inferior. It doesn't matter who's inferior, who's superior, but Allah was the one who commanded us to bow down, or Iblis to bow down. He must obey Allah. And the worst part, it happened in paradise, in which it's quite impossible to disobey. Yeah. Now, so this is important when yes,
Shaitan's a jinn, right? So how is he in paradise?
that was before. That was before he was cursed by Allah, right? Jinns have the ability to choose, right? So that was the time that he was in paradise. Then that's why he was driven out of his. Yeah. I was just quoting something that you asked this question. I forgot.
What about Shaitan? Like
No, something's quite important. Thanks.
Today.
Now I was supposed to say something. It's quite important.
That basically, arrogance has different levels.
Yeah, but no. But anyway, let's continue, right? Yeah. Alhamdulillah. Okay, so yeah, I can't remember completely. Anyway, let's move on. Yeah.
Instead, you know, if you forget something, you make salawat al nabi.
What?
If you forget something, people they say make salawat, say on something.
No, there's no hadith at all, unless it's from. It's always one thing. You remember the thing about this, it's from his culture. Remember about the person, the culture who didn't bury the dead. They don't bury the dead. They every year they pick up the dead and then they dress up. It's from his people.
South America as well.
Right? No, okay. So when somebody died in the family, they don't bury. Every year they come out and they dress up the body.
Yeah, I've seen this. Yeah. It's not.
It's Indonesian. It
Not
is.
just Indonesia. It's
No, this is Indonesia specifically, the one.
That's
The
weird,
culture.
That's
Yeah.
messed up, right?
Every year they decorate.
Doesn't
See,
make any sense.
it's fair, right? I criticize my own people. A lot. Okay, the next one, very important, right? That we must judge everything in accordance with Quran and authentic hadith. Everything means everything. That's why when we ask that question, then we ask, is it was the evidence, right? Which hadith? And it's very important that we don't just take it at face value, right? Which surah is this? 459. Okay.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول وأولي إن تنازعتم في شيء فردوه إلى الله والرسول إن كنتم تؤمنون بالله واليوم الآخر ذلك خير وأحسن تأويلا.
Or you believe, obey Allah and obey the Messenger of Allah sallallahu and those who are in authority. When I say in authority, doesn't mean local mosque, other mosque, right? It must be the mufti, for example, right? Who's in authority. And if you differ in anything amongst yourselves, refer to Allah and His Messenger sallallahu. If you believe in Allah and the last day, that is better and more suitable for the final determination, right? So anything, you do need to know where's the source of it. Don't just accept it as face value. This is where Malaysia, Indonesia, and all this are just doing things without any evidence and all. They just do it, right? And it's quite annoying. And when you question them, they are very angry with you. Some people are even put in jail, right? Because they refuse. They're causing divisions among the ummah, right? So this is very important that we ensure, right, that everything that we do, especially in extra worship, that must have evidence. If not, what happens? You might fall in innovations. Innovations will, number one, you may be in Jahannam with Allah's will. Right? Secondly, you cannot drink from the pond of Al-Kawthar. What is pond of Al-Kawthar?
Is it the drink that you receive to reach the Jannah?
Before Jannah, right? What happens if you drink? You don't feel thirsty, right? 50,000 years. It's a long journey. Okay? So you need to drink, inshallah. Okay. Now, number 8, right? Try to read the Quran with a beautiful voice. Again, beautiful voice also means that you must have the correct tajweed in all this. I know some people say the Quran is completely beautiful, but completely no tajweed.
Tajweed means
Pronunciation. There's two things, tartil and tajweed. Tartil means tartil is obligatory. You must do it. So, for example, the word kafuro and kafuro is Surah 76. Al-Insan. Kafuro means one who is ungrateful to Allah. Kafuro is a spring in paradise. So completely different. This is tartil. If you mispronounce it, right, you will completely change the meaning. Yep. So this is important. Tajweed, it is to unify everybody, right? For example, whether you say innal ladina amanu or innal ladina amanu, the meaning doesn't change, but it's good, yeah, to follow the tajweed because everybody is the same. Yeah. So Prophet Muhammad sallallahu said in the Sunnah Nabi Dawud, authentic according to Sheikh Albani, said, beautify the Quran with your voices. Beautify the Quran with your voice. And this is where, sorry to say this, right, Osama, right? And I heard this, especially the people with Arabic speaking. Many of them they don't have a proper tajweed and even tartil. You agree? Because I know from my students what it is, and they don't beautify it. They think the Quran is just like a book. You just read. You need to beautify. You agree, right? And this is how it is. Whereas it must be read with a beautiful voice. And this is how it's supposed to be the Quran. It's not like any other storybook, but you do need to beautify your voice when you read the Quran, inshallah. Yeah. Another hadith from against Sunnah Abu Dawud, Prophet Muhammad said, reported by Abu Lubaba. Listen to this. He is not one of us who does not recite the Quran in a pleasant voice. Yeah. So important. I would always ask Allah first, right, to beautify my voice. And it's important, right, to improve yourself, not to show off, but for the sake of Allah. Yeah. Next one, number 9. Make sure you understand each verse that you are reciting. It is better to recite just a few verses with understanding than recite the whole Al-Baqarah without understanding. Do you agree? Right? And this is important that we make sure that to get guidance, surely you must, first rule of thumb, you must understand what you're reading. It's not like some magic potion that you read. Boom, you're guided, right? So there must be a lot of understanding, right? The next one goes hand in hand is pondering over the verses. The word in Arabic is tafakkur or tadabbur. Tafakkur. What tafakkur means to consider, examine a thing, to consider a thing, that to reflect, to ponder over, to contemplate, to have proper attention, yeah, in order to understand more, right? Tafakkur and tadabbur is another word that, what does it mean? To do everything that we discussed, right? Recite properly with the proper tartil, tajweed, right? To reflect, to understand, and all this. Yeah, tadabbur. Surah number 650. Qul hal yastawil a'ma wal basir afala tatafakkarun. Right? Are the ones who are blind and in respect of the mind equal to those who are endowed with mental perception and understanding? We do not then think and reflect. A blind person and the one who can see is very different. But same thing as a person who just read and person who ponder over the verse is very different. I think for me, I speak from my own personal experience. If I were to know something, even though it's one verse, I feel so happy. I feel so happy that I have achieved something. I've known everything. That's why I keep on repeating to you guys 12:21, right? Because that solves everything. I don't need to strive so hard because everything's from Allah. You just need to put your best, inshallah. Allah will handle everything. Right?
What verse is this, sir?
Sorry?
What verse is
12:21. Yeah. Now, number 11. And this is very important. Interpret the Quran according to the authentic tafsir and not in accordance to your own desires. How come these Ahmadiyya people think that there's another prophet? Didn't they understand Surah number 33, verse number 40, when Allah said, Prophet Muhammad is or was Khataman Nabiyin, the seal of the prophets. Seal means a seal. That means there's last one, there's nothing at all after that. But they interpret according to what they think it is, how they should be, how it is, and that's why completely they are out of Islam. Do you agree? Right? Anything that you disbelieve in any part of the Quran, you are technically a disbeliever. As simple as that. Yeah. So, Yusuf. So look in the Quran, Surah number 2, verse number 62. Two 62. Read for me, please. Yes. No, English is okay. Okay, do Arabic. Yeah, sorry. Forgot. Forgive me.
62, yeah?
Read.
Those who believe and those who are Jews, Christians, Sabians, those among them who believe in Allah in the last day and righteousness have the reward and no favorable concerning them.
Okay, so what do you understand by this? Stop. Though Allah said clearly in this verse, the Jews and the Christians will be in Jannah. Do you agree?
Yeah, but it's that time.
If you take it now, there's just people who take it read like that without thinking, right? So this stuff here is all from Ibn Kathir, clearly, as you said, right? It is from in those times, those who follow Isa alayhi salam, of course, to the T, we enter Jannah. Same thing as those who follow Musa alayhi salam, right? So, but if you read at face value, this is where people, again, Indonesians, right? They come from a group people called Islam liberal, right? You must agree with me, right? Who they said everybody will enter Jannah. This is what they say. Islam liberal, I think. Right? Everybody will enter Jannah. Yes, even the Christians and the Jews, because of this verse. Sorry? Well, that's a different story. But according to this verse, they take this as face value, right? Yes, this is because Islam liberal. Yeah. Yes.
What are the saviors? What are the saviors?
These are the people who believe in Islamic monotheism. Yeah, in this time, one of the prophets, can't remember which prophet it is. Yeah. Zabur, right? Zabur, right? Yeah, one of those people. Yeah. Now the verse in the Quran, or verses in the Quran concerning hijab, got nothing to do with face cover. The word hijab in Arabic, right? It has, what does hijab means? It referred to in the Quran as a barrier. And again, these are excuses used by those people who doesn't want to hijab. Hijab is not in the Quran, right? So they use an excuse not to wear hijab. Yeah, but Allah used the other words, right? Khimar, jalabiya, right? In order to emphasize the head cover. Right? If you look at the history of khimar, in those days before this verse was revealed, the women used to wear the other way, right? That means the long part is here, right? Sorry, the other way, right? Long part is behind, and then they just turn it the other way, yeah, to cover the bosoms. Can you control that? So this is the hijab, right? Even versus alcohol. If we just read in Surah number 2, verse number 219, what does it say? That some parts of alcohol are good, some evil, but the evil parts is more than the good ones. Didn't say anything about prohibition of alcohol. Even when you read 4 verse number 43, it was saying about do not approach the prayer in an intoxicated state. Nothing to do with prohibition of alcohol. But you read just, oh, okay, it didn't say anything at all. So if I drink alcohol, then I don't pray. Right? And this is how it's interpreted. And this is how sad it is. Right? But always read Surah number 5, number 90 and 91. It completely prohibits alcohol. Yeah. So again, interpretation of the Quran must be in accordance to what it was, how it was revealed in time of Prophet ﷺ, and among the Sahaba and the Tabi'in. It must be according to what it is. You cannot interpret the Quran according to what you think it is. Right? That's why there's so much people are trying, and Allah said in the Quran very clearly that there would not be any change in Allah's religion. Yeah, it would never be changed. If LGBT is prohibited, then it will be prohibited until the day of judgment. Cannot have how can if one become Muslim cannot stand. Okay, this is Muslim, not Muslim. Cannot stand in between. You must either be in or you must be at the other side. It's up to you. Same thing. No, there's no in between. You can have a holiday. Sorry?
People have good and bad deeds equal.
Yeah. Yes. What is people? Al-Araf. Yeah. Al-Araf is chapter number 7. These are people with 50% of good deeds, 50% of bad deeds. So it's balanced. So they will wait and in this elevation called Al-Araf until Allah's judgment, which Allah will judge them to be going to Jannah, inshallah. But in the meantime, they have to wait. It's not a nice wait because they see all the punishments from the other side, from the hellfire. Yeah? Number 12. Yep. Change yourself and see the effects of the Quran on your Islamic practices. What do I mean by this? That means when you read the Quran about for example, right? Idfa' billati ahsan. Idfa' billati ahsan, what does it mean? Repel the evil with goodness. It's quite simple to understand, but most people just cover their eyes, they don't want to understand this. That means if I were to hit you, you shouldn't hit me back. You should be patient and advise me, don't do that, right? If you do that, that means you're not obeying what Allah said. It is Surah number 41, verse number 30. Yeah, 35, 36 around there. I think 35. Right? 35. I may be wrong. Right?
What does Allah say about Muslims that harm other Muslims?
Sorry?
What does Allah say, or in Hadith, about Muslims that harm other Muslims?
Harm other Muslims.
Yeah, not non-Muslims. I'm talking about Muslims harming other Muslims.
Yeah, so this is what Allah said. Idfa' billati ahsan, repel evil with goodness. Right? And this is quite important. What is the rest of the verse? فَإِذَا الَّذِي بَيْنَكَ وَبَيْنَهُ أَدَوَّةٌ كَأَنَّهُ وَلِيٌّ حَمِيمٌ.
So what I meant was, like, would their good deeds come to the person who was harmed, and if they haven't got any good deeds, the person's bad deeds will go to.
Yeah, so this is regarding riba, which is backbiting, yeah, namima and all this slander and all this,
Yeah.
right? So this regarding to this, yes, then they will be bankrupt in their judgment, yeah. So which is a good point, alhamdulillah, because as I said, Quran is not just about salah, not just about fasting. It is a way of life. As I said just now, if you claim that you have read the Quran, you would not want to eat the flesh of your brother, right? That means it's Surah number 49, I think it's verse number 12, right? Allah warned us about not to backbite, yeah. And this is important. It must be reflected in your character, especially the woman, right? Those of you who are not married, you need to control your wives next time, inshallah. Yes, next time.
If you're not married, you need to control your wife.
Next time when you got married,
Oh, right.
don't control your wives, right?
Or practice to get a second one.
And sorry, I didn't say that. That was you, right? Get married one first. Then you realize the challenges, right? So in all this anger, or we talked one whole topic about anger before, I think last week, right? But anger, that anger is from shaitan. We must not be angry, because controlling the anger is one of the qualities of no, yeah, but taqwa.
Yeah.
The Muslim, yes, but that was taqwa. Waladina yunfiquna fi sarai wa dara wal kadhimin wal ghadab wal afina 'anil nas wallahu yuhibbul muhsinin. Surah number 3, verse number 134. 134. Right? So one of the qualities of all of us will want taqwa, right? We want to develop taqwa. One of those qualities it is to control our anger. Right? And this is very important. Not to be angry too often. Yeah, because anger is from shaitan. Can you imagine, Akram, if all of us, let's say 10 of us, are throwing, after this, will throw you in the well. You'll be very angry with us, of course. You will not forgive us, right? Same as the 10 brothers of Yusuf, right? Is it 10 or 11? 10, because Benjamin is same mother, right? So it's 10, right? And you'll be angry, of course, but in Islam, we are not, we strongly discourage not to be angry, because with anger, it will lead to other things. You want to swear all these things, you do something that we will regret later. So, must control anger, inshallah. And the next point about having taqwa is to forgive others, which is again difficult, especially for a woman. Agree? Women, they can say, I forgive, but I don't forget. Right?
They've got a hard drive. It never gets like deleted, yeah.
Yes.
Never,
yes. And you will know later, brothers, once you get married, right? You will be remembered for the wrong things that you do, right? And you will always remind you about the things that you do, but the good things that you do, you will forgotten very easily. Sorry? Yeah, your goalkeeper. Right?
That's what the majority of Jahannam.
Yes, women.
Yeah, like those ones.
Yeah. Okay. So important when you read the Quran, you need to change yourself in terms of your characters, in terms of behavior. You must change. If not, something must be wrong with the recitations. Right? Number 13. Right, going to end soon, inshallah. Be careful when you read the Quran. Don't show off. Not just about recitation, show off your knowledge, right? Because if I'm here I got this knowledge, I'm only Allah knows what's in my heart. Agree? Right? So even when you remind each other, right, do it for the sake of Allah. But don't fall into this thing called riya, which is a minor shirk. Will it lead us to hellfire?
Not for eternity.
It will, but not for eternity, inshallah.
I also had that. I shouldn't leave off reminding people because of
fear of it. Yes, there must be balance. It's all about your intention, right? Why? Because
you shouldn't leave off if you know the truth, you should tell it, even if you think, oh, I'm sure.
Because which verse in the Quran?
Oh no.
Huh?
No. Which verse? No, but what is it? Reminding people. وَلْتَكُنْ مِنْكُمْ أُمَّةٌ يَدْعُونَ إِلَى الْخَيْرِ وَيَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَيَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنكَرِ وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. Let there be among you a group of people inviting to all that is good and joining what is right, avoiding what is evil, and this day of the successful one. Success means Jannah. As you said very correctly, remind each other, right, about this, about that. Yeah. Second last one. Okay. Be careful about innovations recited in the Quran. A lot of innovations or others that are not authentic are being misleading people. People recite Surah Al-Hashr because it's supposed to increase the provisions. The hadith is not authentic. You know what? Al-Hashr, people reciting this because they want to get rich. No, it's not here. Al-Waqi'ah.
Al-Waqi'ah, that's what I was like.
Al-Waqi'ah, Waqi'ah. Yeah. So people start reading Al-Waqi'ah to get more money. Right? It doesn't make sense. Right? Risk from Allah, right? There are other ways to increase our provisions, right? For example, and maintaining ties of kinship, right? Increase your provisions, many things. Giving more charity, increase your wealth. Yeah. Starting Surah Yasin against my culture, your culture, right? Yasin for the deceased on Thursday nights. Yeah, completely has no basis. Yeah, in Islam. Yeah. Son, no, the son, perhaps, right? The Asian culture, they put the Quran here. In the weddings, people go underneath.
Sorry?
Put the Quran.
Yeah.
Quran here. Then the bride and groom go under the Quran to get the blessings and
see.
protection of Allah.
I didn't know
Right.
that. Never seen that
And
before.
this is how it is. Kissing the Quran shouldn't be done.
Oh yeah, that.
Is very much to do with culture, right?
You
You love the hold on. You love the Quran by obeying what Allah says in the Quran, not by kissing the Quran, right?
Really?
Yes.
That's a big
Right.
thing in Somali culture. Maybe that.
It's cultures. It has never been said in any of the Sahaba and all this about kissing
Even
the Quran.
Iranian Prime Minister, I think. You know that in that.
That's how ironical.
Yeah.
What he said.
You know that meeting thing all the countries have where they like votes or something. I think someone from like Iran or something. Yeah, he got the Quran, yeah, and he just kissed it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But it's still ironical, right? Of all people around, how can they love the Quran? They don't even follow the Quran.
Something we don't believe is from Allah. I think Mahdi has. Everyone has a.
Ar-Rahman, yes.
What about saying Sadaqallah al-Azim after?
All are not in any hadith or authentic hadith. All this is nothing wrong according to some scholars, but I wouldn't do it because قل إن كنتم تحبون الله فاتبعوني يحببكم الله ويغفر لكم والله غفور رحيم. Right? Say, O Muhammad, to mankind, if you love Allah, then follow me. Then Allah will love you and forgive you of your sins. So you only do what the Prophet Muhammad has done. Same thing as doing the adhkar using your hands or tasbih. Some scholars say there's nothing wrong with tasbih, but Prophet Muhammad uses the hand. I want to use follow the Prophet Muhammad because I want to get Allah's love and forgiveness. Go in this verse.
Also, because that in the day of judgment,
Your hand will verify, testify for you, right? There's nothing much to argue. If you want to do this, up to you. Some scholars say it's innovation, some scholars say it's not, but I want to follow the Prophet Muhammad. So I don't do that. So I don't say Sadaqal Ma'adim, even though many of the big scholars say that, but I do not want to because it's not been practiced by the Sahaba and all this. Yes.
What should we do with our subh, like the beats? We have that one.
Just ignore it. Put it on side.
On the side.
Yeah.
Because people will not like use it, then I'll buy one.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Just put one side. Yeah. Until the day of judgment. Now, be careful not to swear by the Quran.
What?
Be careful not to swear by the Quran.
Oh yeah.
You only swear by Allah. Very important because people get mistaken about this, right?
especially Egyptian.
Yeah.
Egyptian.
Yeah.
Avoid swearing.
Literally, they swear either by the Quran or by the Prophet.
Stuff. Right? You only swear by Allah, not by anyone else. Yeah. So be careful. So these are the things that innovations about the Quran. So the Quran is not meant for this, right? We understand that when you say that people put their hands in the Quran, right, in the courts and all this should never be done. Some scholars say there's nothing wrong, but it shouldn't be done because Prophet and Sahaba did not do this at all. You swear by Allah, right? That is why, in terms of if you find somebody doing the witnesses against the zina, right? If let's say husband accused wife of zina, right? What and she wants to, she said, I didn't do it. What did Allah say in the Quran?
You must have like 2 witnesses.
4 witnesses, and the 5th one, if she denies it, she must swear upon Allah that she didn't do it. And if she would do it, then she get the curse of Allah. This is huge, more than putting my hand, I swear that I didn't do zina. It is nothing. When we swear by Allah, it's a huge thing. And this is something which we do need to understand. Yeah, the Quran is not meant for this at all. It's meant to understand and to reflect, inshallah. Right? Questions? Last one, right? Memorizing the Quran, of course, is very good to memorize the Quran because what happened? The hadith, it determine your ranks in Jannah. So you will be asked on the day of judgment to recite what you remember, and the more you recite, the higher you will get in Jannah. How many levels in Jannah? 100 levels. Yes. What do you think? Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I don't think that is the main objective of memorizing Quran. I think first of all, memorizing Quran is for yourself first, right? And for this Jannah, and that's about it, inshallah. Yes.
What about the person who is have 10 people?
Yeah, in intercessions on the. I read about this before. I will check by the statistic, inshallah. Right? Questions for today's talk? Is it helpful? Yeah, because all of us must change, including myself. Right? We cannot just take the Quran, 5 minutes, put down, and that's it. Right? Our duty for the Quran is finished. There must be a vast improvements in ourselves, inshallah, when we read the Quran. It's not just as we talk about, it's just like any other book. It must be a special book that will guide us and will bring us to Jannah. That is the purpose of the Quran. Right? Questions? No questions? Yeah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us through the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow this Quran to make the difference in our lives and to enter Jannah to Firdaus. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala improve our iman and taqwa through the Quran. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to understand the Quran, ponder over verses and act upon it. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant all of us Jannah to Firdaus. Subhanaka wa ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta wa astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, we'll see you tomorrow at AICC. At 6 o'clock, inshallah. You always say that, right? We never turn out, right? Or inshallah, we'll see each other on Saturday at 3 o'clock. Yeah. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.